Yo, what's going on, gang? That's right, it's Las Vegas here, man. First episode of Talk That Talk. I just came up with that name. You know what I mean? I ain't dwell too much on the name. I was actually just envisioning how I would format my first episode, and when I just ran through it and played it out, I just said Talk That Talk. Like that was it. You know what I mean? I think sometimes we dwell too much on names, even logos. Like I built a few businesses. We go back and forth about these logos and shit. I feel like the logos become household names. Excuse me, like just household period. And the names become household. You know what I mean? Like Nike or something. What the fuck is a Nike? What the fuck is a Reebok? Fuck do that mean? You know what I mean? Fuck is an Adidas? Which it might be, a breakdown for that, which I don't know, but that's my point though. What the fuck is it? Even the Nike logo, the check, right? The fuck is it? Simple. Boom, it just became household. You start selling, it's household. Your logo could be a dot. It could be any motherfucking thing. So anyway, so I just named my shit Talk That Talk. That's what the fuck is gonna be for now. You know what I mean? I've been going back and forth. Me and my man Smalls have started a little Facebook joint for the DeuceBenjamins page. You know what I mean? A little podcast per se. We did one episode. I think we did 2 episodes, and it kind of popped. I mean, we got good feedback on it. I wouldn't say it popped, but we got good feedback on it as something that we could potentially do. But due to our schedules and shit, just couldn't really get it together. Not to say that it's still, it can't still happen. And then I kind of tinker with the idea of the baby mamas podcast. You know what I mean? Which included my wife and her sister, my sister-in-law, and one of my cousins eventually. That shit kind of jumped off, you know what I mean? We had the first episode, which is actually on Baby Mama's NJ YouTube channel. You can check that out. Or you can go to the DeuceBenjamins website. I mean, support. You can download that $2.99. Get a direct link for that. You know what I mean? But it is up there free on SoundCloud as well. And we had 2 episodes. We actually did an episode 3, which we still might put out. So we might just revisit it. But you know what I mean? My plan right now is just to build a little conglomerate of shit for my website. You know what I mean? Entertainment. I got some music up there. I got one of Las Vegas mixtapes, Money on My Mom. I got G-Day up there. You know what I mean? I'm in the process of collecting a lot of our music that we had. As you know, we had 200 Block Records. You know what I'm saying? Back in early 2000, shit like that. Tearing the city up out there in Jersey, Lakewood. Shout out to my Lakewood head. Shout out to, all the dudes that was running around there. But I'm in the midst of collecting a lot of that music. Get that shit up on the website as well. We do have a still, a core following. People want to hear that old classic stuff, you know what I mean? Yo, with that being said, I went to, shout out to my man Smalls. I went to this Griselda Records concert in New York. I think it was, I want to say the Sony Theater or something like that. Show straight boom bap. You know what I mean? Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine, Westside Gun, you know what I mean? Straight boom bap, yo. And there's still a lane for that shit. Shit was packed, man, front to back. Shit probably was sold out. Straight boom bap. Premier came out, you know what I mean? Buster came out, did some verses. I seen dudes like Graf, but point is, man, these dudes is touring, man. I mean, they did have a little light shine on them when they signed to Shady, but I don't think they really ran with that. Like they just was putting out boom bap, man, straight hip hop. So my point is, it's still a avenue for that, and I plan on using a lot of that music for some visuals, some short films. So I feel like all that work we put in, you know what I mean, back then, like I said, early 2000 and all that, is not in vain. We're gonna use that shit. So it's gonna be up on the website. We're gonna again, use that for some visuals. So boom, getting that together. But you know what I mean, I'm just plotting my next moves. But shit, right now I'm just reading this book on Elon Musk. I think it's his autobiography. I believe from reading the beginning, this is like the first one that he really approved, that he had something to do with. You know what I mean? It's kind of dope. It kind of breaks down how he came up, how he had this. I think he had a company called Zip2, I believe. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a Yelp, like a, you know what I mean, directions meet phone book type of thing. And you know, Compact came along and bought that shit. Boom. Got to build up these companies and get rid of them shits, man. That's how I feel. You know what I mean? Unless they got some sentimental value, like if it's your family type shit, that's different. But build them shits up, man. Get rid of them motherfuckers. Let motherfuckers see value in it. They ready to take it to the next level, man. You take that money, bust another move. So Compact bought that. And then after that, he got into another company. I believe it was X.com. I mean, which eventually turned into PayPal. Kind of merged with PayPal. Like it was like kind of the first online banking that was out there. You know what I mean? Nobody had a system for that. They was writing the code for that. And then PayPal was one of their competitors, but they were smaller. You know what I mean? They actually rented out a space in X.com building, so which is kind of crazy, right? You got two competitors in the same building, and one's renting from the other. But eventually, you know, they merged and they kept the PayPal name. And I believe eBay bought it out. You know what I mean? They got some millions or billions, whatever it was for that. And boom, now Elon Musk is off to the races now. Shit, his whole life he was interested in electric cars and rockets and shit like that. So shit, he took that money, put it into Tesla. You know what I mean? Now Tesla booming, although they got some things going on right now with obviously you always get that with a company. Just so y'all know as well, expect that. You know what I mean? I used to work for, not to get off the topic real quick, but I used to work for this commercial seating company, and I remember the owner just telling me how many lawsuits they had. They just had lawyers on deck for that shit. So if you selling chairs, people gonna fall. You know, them shit's gonna break. They gonna fall out of them. You know, you sue. It's part of the business anyway. So Tesla, you know, they booming, but you know, they got a few lawsuits with the cars. You know, with the automated driving or whatever, shit crashing, some of the batteries exploding, shit like that. But he put the money into that, and also into SpaceX, which was he was interested in sending missiles, you know, to the moon or just into space. You know what I mean? Transporting satellites and things of that nature. Shit was being done already with companies like Boeing and things like that, but his vision was to do it cheaper, right? So when you look at it, like throughout history, we had launches to the moon and shit like that, right? She only had one every fucking 7 years or something. It just took that long to make sure the shit ran right, the engines, you know, whatever the case. And then the expense piece was there, so you spending millions on that one mission. So his plans was to do that shit cheaper. You know what I mean? And you know, I guess he kind of did it because they still booming. And he's one of, when you dealing with space travel and sending shit to the moon and shit, that's government entity. You know what I mean? You only got a couple people that got contracts with government to do shit like that. So he jumped in that space. You know what I mean? No pun intended, but so he big dog. So then, again, SpaceX and that and solar, and he trying to get us to switch to, you know what I mean, you know, clean energy and shit like that, which you know they don't like that because they want that fossil fuels. They want us to use that hard shit, that gas. That's what all this fighting be about over that gas and shit, and you know, coal, whatever the hell. There's big money behind that. So for him to be using, you know, like wind farms and solar and shit, they're like, hold up, bro, you fucking the game up. So he was getting, his family was scared for his life. Like, bro, shit, they gonna kill your ass. Like, you gotta relax. But I like him, man. You know what I mean? He's dope. Man, he just fought for what he believed in. But I just love this business shit, man. You know what I mean? I love it. Cause it's numbers don't lie. You know what I mean? What they say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. You know what I mean? So I love it. I just had my son with me yesterday. First of all, I went to the bank. Um, I went to the bank. I actually took out money for the rent, right? And I'm showing my son like, look at this. Da, 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 da. He's like, damn, you know, he's 7 years old. He looking at all that money like, ooh. So we gonna meet the landlord. I paying this shit over to him. So my son like, man, he getting bread. I'm like, word. So I just started breaking down to him how this real estate shit go. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck if he's 7. And I try to do it in a way where he understands. You know what I mean? It's understandable to him. So I think he got it though, but I was just breaking down to him how, you know, this dude has we live in a condo, right? So the guy has this condo, shit, his mortgage might be $800. He charging us 1350 or whatever the case. So, you know what I mean? He gives the 800 to the bank, and then the other five or five and some change, that's him. So I was like, that's how you make money. So then I was explaining to him how if you take that same let's say 500 profit and you stack that shit for a year or two or whatever the case, whatever it is, you might have some other bread going on too, but stack that for a year or two, get you another. Go see the bank again. Look, I see this another place I like. I want to get this one too. Boom. Now you got 2 of them. Let's say just for, you know what I mean, for the sake of time, they're the same price or whatever, and you're doing the same thing. You're running it back. Now you got 2 of them that's bringing in $500 a month. You know what I mean? That's good money. So, shit. And I was just telling him, all you gotta do is wake up and collect for the most part. You know what I mean? Of course, again, business. And I explained that to him too. I was like, yo, it's business. You don't always profit. You know what I mean? You're gonna take some losses. Like, I remember I had Vegas Enterprises. I was fixing phone shit. Niggas ain't know I wasn't always making money off them shits. I might fuck around and break the screen. There go my $50 little profit or whatever the case. You know what I mean? I gotta go get another screen now with the profit that is supposed to be mine. So be happy if you break even sometime. You know. So I was telling him that. He's in the cars. He watched too much of this damn YouTube, but he's in the cars, and that's another thing. He telling me, oh, Dad, you should get you a Bugatti. I'm like, bro, you watching too much YouTube, bro. But he's in the car, so I was telling him, shit, that's something you love or you like. It seemed like, so you could turn that into money too. Same concept as the houses or whatever, the real estate. So you know, you get you a little car, a little Honda, something that need an engine. Shit, cause I got a little project car, right? So I told him the same way I went and bought that engine for the project car, you go, no, or wherever you getting it from. You know what I mean? You put that shit into the car, you buy that shell for 500, you buy an engine for 5. Shit, if you into it and you know how to do the work, you do it yourself or you outsource the work. Shit, you know what I mean? You spend 1,000, you spend 1,300, sell that shit for 25. So I was telling him, you know, that other stack or whatever it is, that's profit. That's what's called profit. You know what I mean? So I was explaining that to him, you know. Early age, I'm trying to instill it, and I think he get it. I think he really get it, man. He just, I hope so, man. I think that's what's wrong with us. And when I say us, you know what I mean? Like, like-minded and, you know, people that grew up like me, same culture, black community. Don't necessarily have to be black, but you know, shit, it was white boys in my hood too. So, you know, that's what I mean. Yeah, so you know, um, just trying to instill that in the boy. You know what I mean? Again, just like I said, with people that's like minded or just come from the same background. You know, I don't think we got that. And for years we talked about that. Like, damn, my parents ain't. But if you think about it, they weren't taught that. So how the hell you gonna be taught that? You know what I mean? That's really what the disconnect is. My mom probably ain't know about credit. So how the hell she gonna show me about credit? You know what I mean? I was very observative. I never heard her talk about that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying just to me in particular, just I never heard her speak on it, period. So she ain't know. That's how I look at the shit, you know what I mean? And then also they come from a time, you know, 70s, 80s, 90s where US was booming. I don't think credit was there, but you was able to get approved for shit, you know what I mean? You ain't have to have that top score, which ultimately led um, to the economy crashing because they was just giving it out to motherfuckers that really wasn't qualified for it, but that's a whole nother story. Um, but yeah, trying to instill that in that boy early, you know what I mean? So that's it. But yeah, man, I just love this business shit, man. And this just another extension, um, to all the shit I'm trying to do, man. I just figured you put a little, you know, you gotta plant some seeds. You know what they say, the fruit you eat today is from the seeds you planted. You know what I mean? So you gotta just plant some seeds out there, and one of these things is gonna pop, man, and then you're able to take some of that and nourish another seed. You know what I mean? Now you making that pop, that something else pop, make it pop. You know? So that's how we doing it, man. But you know, I just a lot of motherfuckers don't know, man. I come from a gang of hustlers, man. Like, you know, when I was 16, 17, I was running with some dudes that had the hustle in them. You know what I mean? Shit, I ain't talking about drugs, and I mean, it was a little of that going on, don't get me wrong, but these dudes was already thinking big, like, shit, we was forming LLCs already, and contracts, and, we had, like, commercial spaces and shit, early age, you know what I mean, and buying, properties, early age, like, we was thinking like that already, you know, and I happened to be around it. Also, I was around some dudes that, um, got to the computer thing early, you know. I'm talking about when dial-up was around. Everybody didn't even have internet in the house. I mean, shit, if you did, and it was just dial-up. But, you know, we was doing shit with the internet early, at an early time. You know, people, I ain't gonna say they just getting on, because obviously it's around now, but we was doing that early on, man. Like, you know, my man used to hack, and I remember when we had 20 Block Records, everybody was recording analog equipment, you know, DATs, ADATs, whatever, just mixing boards. I'm looking like all this fucking equipment, like, and wasn't cheap, you know. I mean, we had some of it too, but we was like one of the first ones to just go to software based recording. You know what I mean? And at the time, I think we had Sony Acid Pro. That shit was like $700. My man was nice with it, bro. He hacked, boom, 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 how he freaked it. We got that shit for free. They sent the link to the email, however he made it happen. He's doing shit like that. I'm talking about activating shit, Motorola flips. We had them shits as young boys, you know what I mean? I remember going to the basketball games in Lakewood, and we got the damn flips. The older hustlers like, yo, what the hell, these young boys, where they getting this shit from? Like, you know what I mean? We was moving like that because we was just onto the internet thing. These dudes was hustlers, man. They was street dudes. They wasn't next to the internet, man. You know what I mean? So we was ahead. So that's really where I get my jump on business. I'm always thinking business, man. How could I get $1 out of this situation, you know? And then I'm kind of grateful that I was able to the job I kind of work for now. You know what I mean? It's a lot of business. I don't even look at it like a place that I'm trying to be forever. But I do look at it as a place that is teaching me the back end of this shit. You know what I mean? So if anything, I'm getting that as compensation. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. But yeah, man, we gonna get busy, man. Talk that talk. You know what I mean? Las Vegas, man. Y'all tune in, man. We're gonna have some fun with this shit. You know what I mean? See if we could turn this up, man. Get some real topics. Really stay on topic for that episode. Lean in, might have some guests on sometime. Might do video if I feel like taking it that route. I don't know though, cause for me, I got into this podcast thing. Like, I mean, personally, I'm into it, right? Because I drive a lot. I probably commute 3 hours a day. So I just started listening to interviews. There's only so much music you can listen to when you're driving. You know what I mean? I go back to the old school. I'm R&B. Some of this new shit is like, it's just redundant. It's the same shit. But, I got into the podcast, but my point of saying that was I drive, so I'm not really watching the video. So, I'm kind of leaning to that, just having some audio with it, but might play around with some video sometime, man. Just have some fun with it, man. Have some like-minded people on. See where this shit go, man. I think it could go places. So, anyway, man, y'all stay tuned, man. You know what I mean? Talk That Talk, Volume 1.